Hi, this is Lisa Lingso, futurist and partner at Future Navigator from Copenhagen. I was in Amsterdam not long ago, having the last time slot in the day. So let me just give you a brief summary of what my 3 points were all about. First of all, I wanted you to ask yourself the big question on why are you in business? And from my point of perspective, it's really in order to change behavior or to stimulate behavior or somehow make people do something they wouldn't have done otherwise. And for that purpose, I started out by giving you a small quiz. So what would be the most important factors for getting success in the future in terms of money, in terms of having a good job, in terms of having long-lasting relationship, in terms of having your health. I gave 3 different options that you could pick between. A was a high IQ and a high EQ. B was a large amount of self-control. And C was a positive approach to life. Then I counted to 10 or to 3, and then at 3 everybody had to say whatever letter they believed in. So A was a high IQ, EQ, B a large amount of self-control, and C a positive approach to life. Then everybody said C, which was my point of view until we got these new surveys that shows that no, in 1970 they put these kids who were 4 years old in front of some marshmallows, and then they said now the researcher will leave the room and leaving this marshmallow in front of you, and if you can not touch it within the next 15 minutes, we will give you one more once we come back. And these kids, they had a really hard time not eating that marshmallow. A very little percentage managed to say no, to stay focused on not eating that marshmallow, and they got another one. And surprise, surprise, they're the one faring much better than the average person in society today. Why? Because they can manage to say no to 90% of the things that they offered in the supermarket. That means they become healthy. They also say no to short-term loan with a high interest rate, which means that they become rich. And they can say no to other potential partners when they go out at night, which means that they have long relationships. So I think this is really interesting because I guess human nature is very much still like we're in the hunter-gatherer society. If there's a big bowl of candy standing in front of us, well, basically we will eat until it's empty. So let's say that we have this little percentage who have the self-control, the ability to say no. Most of us, however, have a very hard time changing our behavior. We tend to do what we always do, unless we are stimulated to do otherwise. But it's really hard. In terms of just communicating to people, I will give you an example. To 1,000 people, it was communicated to them that unless they really change their lifestyle in terms of exercising more, eating less, they would die of a heart disease within a year. And do you know how many actually changed their lifestyle? Less than 10%. So the interesting thing here is, if it's that hard to communicate to people and get them to change their preferences, to make them change their behavior, because like it or not, we drive around on an automatic pilot most of the time, then what can we do in order to change? And why do I ask this? Again, I think for the media business, it's really important. We're talking so much about different platforms, but let's think about what do these platforms do to people? How can we actually stimulate and change? Well, I gave 3 possible directions. One is nudging. Nudging, you know very well from yourself, from Schiphol Airport, where they actually put in this little fly in the where men are doing the urinating, which actually limited urine spill on the floor by 80% or something like that. So instead of putting up angry sign that people should target the bowl, they actually use this fly to nudge, to change the architecture around us to do something better. The other example I used in my presentation was from The Hague, your humanity house, which is really transforming people. Instead of just giving a lot of listing on facts and figures about refugees, you actually go in there, your identity papers are taken away from you, and then you have to struggle your way through the house. In the end, you stand there on the very rooftop with no papers whatsoever, and you can see they put up fake people on other rooftops, and you actually have the feeling of being a refugee yourself. So powerful compared to traditional kinds of communication. The second option I mentioned was body hacking. Body hacking will come from Silicon Valley, and we believe it will be the Christmas present, the favorite Christmas present in 2015. We can bet you that. And it's a little bracelet or a little medallion, a little jewelry you put around your neck, and it's actually registering everything. How much you weigh, who you are stressing together with. You can put in how should your sex life be, should you have sex 3 times a week, and it will actually measure, are you having the amount that you are going for in your goals. And then you have, you can also, of course, put in some more objective measures like how hot is your house, should you turn down the temperature a little bit. It will register, do you stress when you meet with other people, or are you feeling in flow now? It will keep your focus on the education you want to take. Well, anyway, this body hacking, what it will allow you by the end of the week is actually monitoring not what you are saying you want to do, but what are you actually doing. So it will give you a tool in order to give you the self-control, which has been absent in most of us in terms of the marshmallow. So now we can actually train our self-control with this body hacking device. Is it necessary? Oh well, if you ask the Danish population how much sugar and candy they eat, if that was really true, then 40,000 tons of sugar and candy go wasted every year. We just don't know where it ends up. Opposite, we think that we consume 4 times as much culture as we really do. So this leads me to big data. How will you exploit this big data? How will you exploit body hacking in order to target people, but also to really understand what they are doing, not just what they are saying they're doing? The last thing is group pressure. So you might not be able to say no to the food yourself, but surveys shows that in Southern Europe, people in Southern Europe, they have 1/4 of lifestyle diseases. And it's not due to the olive oil. It's actually due to the fact that they sit and have lunch together 1.5 hours every day. And that eating together is actually creating a normalizing impact on people. Without actually knowing, we tune in on each other. So peer pressure is an extremely powerful thing. So eating with people would actually normalize your intake. Whereas in North America and in Northern Europe, you have a very individualistic approach to food. But using this group pressure or peer pressure, if you like, is very powerful if you want to induce change. Then you need a critical mass of people who are behaving in a certain way, then the rest will follow. So 3 things. One is nudging, changing the architecture around people, the choice architecture around people. How can you become better at that? How can you exploit big data better? It's the second thing. And thirdly, this group pressure. How can you use it to actually getting something better out of your relationship to people? Good luck with that. And you can find a lot of our trends and mega trends and small video clips in English about them at our homepage www.futurenavigator.dk. And you can call me also if you have any more questions or queries, if you need some of the data behind all this. Thank you. Bye.